3, 2, 1, action. Welcome to the Whitestone Clan first presentation, I suppose, conversation, talking about like the early days of our marketing journey now begins today with this conversation. Like we have not communicated publicly to the outside world yet. Mm-hmm. And here we are sitting with our council of elders, our council of people that are building the Whitestone Clan. And so to my left, I've got Gabriel the Lion. To my right, I've got Adam King Karcz. And myself, the founder of the Whitestone Clan or Whitestone Talent. This is not a sect or a cult. Let's be clear. Pretty much. Yeah, I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
The stag.
Yes, the stag. My spirit animal is the white stag, I believe.
That's right.
Why, you ask?
We're all wondering.
Yes. So the white stag, as a young boy, I had a repeating dream that we lived in Crystal Lake, suburbs of Chicago, and we had a field in our backyard and then a forest growing up. And I had this repeating kind of nightmare that was wolves chasing me out of the forest in our backyard. And I just remember running and tripping over like a root and falling onto moss, waking up. The next version of the dream, I'm running out and I get past the woods and I'm out on the field heading home, and boom, I trip again and I wake up. And third dream, I'm at home and I get home and I'm looking outside my window upstairs in my bedroom and I'm seeing wolves outside. And I'm like, whoa, and that kind of symbolized the stag to me. And I think that's actually why that has led me today to wanting to do this and speak to the camera and speak to people, because I realized that that we're going to implement the stag strategy for marketing, which is like we don't necessarily want to be going out there and hunting for our clients. We just want to show you guys what we do, talk about what we do. And then if you guys click with us, if you guys vibe with us, then you guys reach out to us. And we're very boutique, we're very custom. Like we become an extension of your company. And so we'll sit down, we'll sauna together, we'll have cigars together, and we'll talk about how we can come up with like a custom offer that works best for your business. However, we're also working on packaged offers just so that it's simpler to start with, where you guys...
Something a little bit more out the box, you would say. And then you can kind of
customize
from there.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of a brief intro to why I believe my spirit animal is the stag. And I got that question also when I first started Whitestone Talent and I first started interviewing people as an icebreaker question that I got from the book Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss. He often asks people their spirit animals. And so I started doing that, and it was really fun during interviews. And I was like, whoa. And it kind of told me a lot. Like we've got the lioness, and she'll tell you what is on her mind, and she's very courageous. And she's a leader for one of her customers, and she crushes it. And so, yeah. What's up? So, the lion, Gabriel, maybe if you talk a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my spirit animal is the lion. I actually got that from Tom. Personally, I'm not sure if the lion is it yet. It's a very generic one, where I'm trying to lean into it. The lion is a very ferocious animal. I don't know if that's the best.
So putting you on the spot, we have to say it right now, man. You got 3 seconds. What's your spirit animal? It doesn't have to be it forever. But what have you been brewing with?
I've given it so much thought, and it's hard to put it into one. I've tried to think about it.
Top 3.
Because at the end of the day, we're humans, right? And it sucks to pigeonhole yourself into one.
I identify as a lion. I was a pig. I would have to say lion. I'm just familiar with it.
Yeah. Oh, you're very noble. I've noticed that you stand up for people. You stand up to bullies, and that's what I see in you. You know what I mean? And I love that about you. And so I'm really happy to be I'm really happy
Yeah.
to have a lion within the clan, and I hope you never eat me, but protect me from the wolves.
I feel
His honor.
Love it, love it, love it. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's a good introduction for me.
Yeah.
Well, what about like the work when like our clients meet with us and stuff? Like, what's your specialties? What are your like superpowers? And where are you now, or where you're going, where you want to be?
So, I guess the most traditional term, they call it chief operating officer, but I don't like labeling it in that thing. I much prefer integrator, because an integrator is somebody that no matter what the issue is, that you'll come to a solution. Doesn't matter what it is, you'll put everything aside, you'll figure out a way. I think that's the most
Yeah.
best way to describe what I do.
Yes, and I love it because I think you are a great like balance to me. Where oftentimes I can be in the clouds and like dreamy a little bit, and you're very like grounded, and you're like, Tom, like we got to buckle down on some of these expenses, man, or like some of these things, you know.
Yeah.
Like there's a better option. Like talk about the projector story recently.
Projected. Yes, so there was very recently. Tom wanted a projector for Freight Caviar. I guess it was to help. I don't know what you want to call that.
We were organizing a Freight Caviar meet in our town in northeastern Poland called Białystok, White Hill, and so we rented this beautiful area where we have had our team parties before, and we needed a place to present and like.
That's right. We wanted Paul wanted a projector to best showcase everything to the whole team. And
Paul actually, just to clarify, Big Bear, that's Paul, his spirit animal, Big Berry Bear. He actually never mentioned it. I was like, I wanted it. Yeah, I believe so.
He just
Correct me if I'm wrong,
He
Paul.
just said it was.
I wanted to surprise Paul.
Okay.
No, maybe we talked about it a little bit. My memory.
But
Yeah.
not to sidetrack, Tom came to me like, hey, look, we need a projector like tomorrow. So I went out in the morning looking for one, and I went to surprisingly all the tech shops. Nothing. They all had the same model. I don't even remember what it was, but it was like for $2,500. And I was like,
Wow.
no way. There's just no way we're doing that.
I was like, book it, take it. We need the truck. We need the truck.
Yeah, Tom was like, yeah, just take it. Like whatever. I'm like, Tom, let's take it back a notch and like wait. Went to a few more stores, and surprisingly, a supermarket had one for $400, and it was like amazing. It was so good, I got myself one as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like got its own like chip, like processor inside, so it can run its own programs and stuff.
Wow.
So we got that. It's $400.
400 PLN, so that's like $100. Yeah.
$100
Let's go.
projector.
Mm.
Did the job great.
Great find, by the way, brother.
Of course.
Good stuff. And that's also something cool about what I've seen you be able to deliver for our clients already is like we've had clients that have said like, hey, we need 2 people yesterday. And within a day or 2, we've got 2 people placed. We've had people placed over the weekend, just like somebody leaves on a Friday for a client. On Monday, we've got somebody that's at work learning.
For sure.
Let's fucking go.
Gabriel's
Quality people.
the guy who gets stuff done. Let's not sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
He makes the magic happen.
Thank you. We couldn't be
fine.
the Whitestone clan without you, man. And so Gabriel's also, we're working on ways to make Gabriel part owner of Whitestone, and so I'm really excited about that. We've got a path for that, and like I'm really excited for that day.
Couldn't be here without Tom.
Yeah.
Let's go,
For
baby.
sure. Credit where credit is due.
King Karcz.
So
What's up? What's up? So you started as a customer of Whitestone.
I did, and then they were just that good that here I am sitting in a comfy leather chair, smoking a cigar, hanging with some real talent. You know, not to mention the talent that we're bringing to the table. But yeah, no. Started off, so my name's Adam Karcz, spirit animal. I don't know if you guys knew this, but identify as a mallard or a duck.
Whoa.
Reason being is that they're aquatic, yet aerial.
Mm-hmm.
They can be quirky, yet majestic.
Oh, I love
And at the same time, you look at a duck, you're like, oh man, that guy ducks.
John Jones, if any UFC fighters, he's been getting so much shit for being a duck lately, and he owns it.
Yeah,
I'm a duck. I'm also a legend. And what are you gonna do? You know, kick my ass? I'm fucking John Jones.
Yo, you don't mess with ducks, right?
Yes. I'm a big UFC fan. If any of you guys are like UFC, I mean, I could talk about.
Yeah, and like MMA talk about
Yes,
it.
MMA talk about it.
MMA talk.
Yeah, we also have some very, very good friends like this who are the owners of the MMA Talk YouTube channel. 320 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I began as the voice there. Gabriel's taken over since. So we're also balancing a couple of things, which is exciting. That takes up an hour of your time every single day, you know.
Not even.
Yeah.
Once you get used to it, it's like 20
Yeah,
minutes.
you do it in like 20 minutes. It always took me an hour or more. So like, that's what I mean by integrator. You know, I like get caught up in some of the clouds and stuff. Yeah, you just get it done. Anywho, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no sweat. So how I got here is so I'm part owner of a small freight brokerage based out of Denver, Colorado. We call ourselves Iron Peak Solutions. Watch out, world, we're coming. And Mr. Tom here, met him with Paul over at a conference. I believe it was the TIA. Really great chance for those in freight. Join the TIA. Go ahead and check it out. Great conference. But we rolled up one day, and you know, I think it was my sister who recognized them, and they're like, "Oh, I know those guys." So we went up and we introduced ourselves, and next thing you know, we just hit it off. And I see Tom here chewing on what were they, like the little
Zin maybe? Or
No, it was like the little herbs that smelled like
Gojiki.
Yeah,
Gojiki.
coming through. He's like, he has a bag. He's like, you want some? I'm like,
Classic Tom.
I'm an odd one. I'm a different. I'm a unique one.
anyways, one of a kind, as they say. And so after that, we really hit it off, and then we started talking Whitestone. And so where the synergy came to play is that we're all, you know, young Polacy, and you know, we had a very similar upbringing, very similar values, very similar ambitions. And when we started talking, I realized right away that these are the guys who I want to work with. These are the guys who are going to bring some value to the table. And since then, you know, we've worked, we've hired, and the talent that we brought through, I'm going to give a special shout out to Evie. If you're watching this, you're my girl. But from it, they started finding opportunities for our countrymen and women to come and help the U.S. market. And I've been nothing but, I mean, I don't want to say the word satisfied, but like, yo, you guys have been awesome. We've been awesome now. And so that's why I'm part of this panel here, helping out with kind of the client management. I understand what it's like to be someone looking for talent. We've gone nearshoring, offshoring, hiring, firing, training, everything in between. And from everyone that I've worked with, this is the real deal.
Let's
So
go.
I'll just leave it at that.
But, I'm curious if I can double
Please.
click into that a little bit. Why do you think like we are the real deal, or what's unique versus some of the other options out there?
Yeah, I would say that what Whitestone really does well is we like to understand the person on the other side and the organization, and like Tom here mentioned, it's an extension of your team. If you're a busy entrepreneur, you're running an organization, you're a manager, and you need to grow and you don't know what that looks like, Tom and Gabriel and everyone else here was so accommodating that it doesn't matter. They threw client or they threw interview after interview for us, and they said, we're going to get this right. And when we did, it hit off real well. I'm sure you'll hear about it here in a bit, about the saunaing and the cold plunges. Have yet to do that, but we bonded over other ways. And that to me was really special, is that I didn't feel like just a number someone was calling in their CRM. I didn't feel like someone who was just, I'm calling you because I want your business. I got a phone call because I wanted your partnership.
Yeah.
And that's really the best way that I could explain that. And I can't speak more highly of how that feels as an entrepreneur, because there are so many other things they have to worry about. Training the team, making sales, running the organization, accounting, not getting sued, booking the freight. And that just took one thing off my plate that I didn't have to worry about. And that really it hit home for me. And you don't get that in a lot of places, because especially when the organizations that are recruiting for you are churning and burning, their own employees at the same pace. I can't even tell you how many folks I've worked with where my account manager changed 3 times. Okay, what does that mean? So that's really what resonated.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, because for me, from the get go, starting Whitestone, it's always been about building like a lifelong partnership. Like whoever I go into business with, like if we stay together 10, 25, 30, 40 years, like we're just going to get stronger and we're going to figure out many ways to do business, help each other.
Yeah.
And that's like what I'm like in this business in Whitestone Talent. I'm not today solely looking to make money in this business. I'm really looking to make relationships, partnerships, and partnering with the right owners of other companies. And that's why it's also very important for me to meet with our clients. I really want to do that before we like actually start really going into really ramping up business. Like sure, we'll hire 1, 2, 3, 4 people, but we really want to meet with you guys and become friends, become friends and extended family. Like I've never felt
Building that trust.
yeah exactly.
And I think the one thing that we all have in common here is that we all want more out of life. I mean, as y'all can tell, we are a bunch of young whippersnappers with, a spark in our eye and a skip in our step. And we want something out of this life. We want something out of this world, especially as things are changing so quickly and drastically. Finding that clan, you used that word before, finding that clan or that group of individuals who want the same and, what 2 people or 3 people or 4 people can accomplish when they work together is the same as a small army. And that's kind of the feeling here is that together, I feel like we can conquer the world.
Absolutely. And I've been reading a lot of principles by Ray Dalio and his company Bridgewater, which is incredible what he's built at Bridgewater. And I love that name because when he first started, it was to bridge the gap between the waters, the U.S. and the East Coast and China, the Pacific and the Atlantic, and bridging water like that. And so with Whitestone, I hope and like I want us to be building, like when you partner with us, you're not just getting talent. We want to also offer an HR department, a management team, a leadership team. We want to be able to also provide other services where like we're out here, we can help train and develop, we can help create SOPs, we can talk about the level 10s and implement those into your business as well.
So if I can ask right there, because I feel like that's a good segue, what would you say Whitestone offers? What do we bring to the table? What can we say, okay, what's out of the box versus, or what roles and what else, where can that grow from?
Yes.
If I may ask.
So we're working on kind of packaging and creating some bundles right now because until now we've just been listening to our clients, hearing the problem and the challenge. So far we've been hearing, like meeting with our clients, and instead of offering like a cookie cutter or a productized solution, we've been listening and then working with you guys to come up with a custom tailored solution. However, now we want to create packages and bundles just to have a better place to start, where one of those bundles could be, hey, if you just want the most basic thing, you just want somebody to start as like an experienced leader to come in or an inexperienced leader to come in, we can help you find that person, place them into your position, come up with like aligned goals for that person. If you have them, you can create them. If not, we can help create them, etc. So that's one. We could just straight to talent and a set price for that, monthly price, etc. Next, we can come up with a bundle and a package where you get a leader who will also help create SOPs for you, and we'll come in and help create those SOPs. And we've got some really cool ways of doing that and creating Google Drives and folders and a really, really cool system that we can double click into later in this episode. So it's we're gonna over deliver on this. We're gonna share all of our business secrets and our business like boom gold. And so stay tuned, keep listening. You'll find out a lot of these like SOPs and things that we're doing on that front. You want to add anything to that?
And real quick, because since we're recording, me stepping out because I had to piss like a racehorse.
Yeah, no,
Didn't mess with the shot, or do you
Not
want to
at
say
all.
that again?
Not at all,
Like
not
that
at all.
That's all here. I'm not sure what the camera angle looks like.
it's authentic. We're gonna keep it rolling. The YouTube video, this is
Okay.
long form. This is for you guys, like as if you were sitting here next to us and
Oh.
listening in. You know, so like if someone steps out, like that's real. We're gonna run that, and then off. This is our marketing strategy. Our YouTube video is gonna be one long 2 hour, 3 hour clip. Raw, authentic is what you get because that's us. Raw and authentic and natural.
In that case, bladder of a 5-year-old. So that'll
Did-
probably happen a couple
ditto.
more times.
I'll be stepping out.
You keep the microphone on.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yes, it is on.
We've done that. We've
We've
done
had
that.
that happen.
We have a great story about that. Yeah, we've done a Freight Caviar episode where I step out to go pee, and you want to share a little bit of that?
So
I
there you-
wasn't there, unfortunately. I would have. I wish I was there.
But your brother was editing the video, right?
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
and so like I step out to go pee, and suddenly like the people remaining on set are talking, and suddenly we're peeing on the episode, and you can hear over the mic the pee coming, flushing out, and I'm like, leave it, it's funny, it's Freight Caviar, it's funny. However, the big hitter CEO, the professional, he was cool with it too, but obviously his
team.
HR, his marketing team were like, no, we're not comfortable with that. This is a massive company,
Yeah.
and so. Yeah, we cropped that out, but on the Whitestone channel, like this is gonna stay there, and
In that case,
you guys might have a good
yeah.
laugh. We'll see if like Adam's got anything going on actually with his bladder, if it's like the pee's coming like pause and go, or not.
If there's a doctor out there, let me know what
Yeah.
you think.
Yes.
Perfect timing.
Wonderful.
So where do we go from here, gentlemen?
Let's ask this: where do you want to go with Whitestone? Where do we go from here?
Love that. So where do we want to go with Whitestone? I suppose to answer where we want to go with Whitestone, I feel I like talking long form, and I have long attention span, and like my focus can get really long, and people can sometimes get bored. However, if you don't, I started Whitestone. I also owned brokerages, 2 brokerages. We've moved over 80 loads at one brokerage, at the other like moved 30, 40 loads, something like that, when we realized that, hey, like just solely chasing the money of a brokerage was not what it was about for me and my partner in that business. And so we stepped out of that, and then I realized that, hey, there's a ton of really smart English-speaking people here in my town in Poland, and there's a ton of great companies in the U.S. that could really use some benefit. Yeah, and this was when we started Whitestone. This was still like COVID time, right before COVID time, even
Glory days.
Yeah, and so people weren't like some of our customers are on camera saying, "I will never outsource." 2 years later, they're running massive teams with us overseas. And so that's cool. It's cool how people's mindsets can shift, and how COVID has caused that shift. And so yes, so that's kind of helping good people in Poland, white stones, pure white stones with integrity, with great character, working with great companies in the U.S. And like we touched on values a little bit. I want our values to always be great character. And what does that mean? Transparent in talking about the issues that are going on within your company, the people, like just being able to address issues. And that's what we do on our level 10 meets. We bring issues to the front. Like you mentioned,
No matter how uncomfortable they
no
are.
matter how uncomfortable they are. And I think that's one of the most valuable things that we do, because like if you build a team in the Philippines or India or maybe in some of these South American countries, people will not tell you about some of the problems going on because they're scared to tell you about what's happening behind the rug, because they're afraid they're gonna get in trouble or et cetera, et cetera.
Now, would you say that's a cultural thing? Because I will say, I mean, maybe it's a stereotype, and you know what they say about those, but Polish folk, we're straight.
They'll tell you how it is. They're
Yeah.
straight shooters. Yeah.
How many times my mom told me, Adam, you're gaining weight?
Boom.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight up.
They're
It's-
straight up.
Yes, it's painful truth, but that's
Yeah.
how we grow. That's how we grow muscles. That's how we grow in business. That's how we grow in life. Even doing podcasts, talking to the camera like this like the cave you fear to enter most holds the treasure you seek.
Mhm.
And so a lot of time it's just overcoming those personal fears. What is fear? False evidence appearing real. You tell yourself that, hey, I'm not good on camera. I'm not, people are going to judge me. People are going to misunderstand me.
Insecurities.
And going out there and still communicating, and clicking with the people that dig it. And the more authentic and real you could be, the more transparent you can be, eventually people will start to understand you. And so number one, transparency. Number two, truth. And so we look for people that have both of those traits, truth and transparency. And when we hire those people, like that will turn into great culture within companies. And building a great culture starts with great people, and that's what we can offer our clients.
And if I can chime in there, if y'all have seen one of those, Instagram posts or whatever it is, that when the Navy SEALs or the Marines or the Green Berets come to choosing their individuals for that high-ranking special forces, they look at trust versus aptitude, right? How talented, how skilled are you? How much can I trust you? The ideal candidate are those in the top right corner, right? Those who have both skill and trust.
Mm-hmm.
The worst people you can hire are those with high skill and low trust. Why? Because they know what they're doing and they're going to get you, right? And so having that,
Those are the wolves.
and
I'm not saying wolves are bad. There's good wolves. There's
Yeah.
white wolves. There's black wolves. And there's gray wolves that are great. And so
whatever it is, and that's I think primarily the focus is finding those individuals who you bring on, and you don't have to worry about, are they going to stay the extra 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes to get the job done? Are they going to try to milk the clock? Are they going to try to do you like, no, that's the priority number one, is finding solid individuals with morals and values, because when you have that as part of your culture, that's how empires are built. Because as soon as you have one bad egg, especially those in a high ranking position, good luck. Good luck.
You're right. That's when all the problems start. That's when the troubles
Yep.
start. That's like if you hire somebody in one of these other countries, it could, if you have that, that's when you might get data leaks. That's when you might get
Yeah.
somebody that gets angry with you, sending like
Your
bad things.
customer list.
Yeah,
or-
that's when like real problems happen. And so you want, like, it's so important to have people with integrity, with character.
Yep.
Let's fucking go. Let's go. But yes, if you have that, that's when culture starts to happen, and that's when you can really start to scale and build a company that solves problems, and you start getting efficiency. And
So let's talk about how do we find people like that? Like, what's Gabriel? Maybe you want to chime in here, because he's our main guy on the floor canvassing. He's going out, sifting through, doing all the heavy lifting in the sense of finding the talent. How do you do
so when I started recruiting, because in the beginning I was still learning how Whitestone works and everything when I started working with Tom, what I noticed right away is when you talk with people, like potential recruits for the company, you want to be doing it in person, because that's when you really get to know them, builds
Yeah.
trust. And I also got, like, every time I interview people in person, like majority of the time, they'll tell me after the interview, like, hey, like, this is a refresher. Like, most companies don't do this. And they always use the word trust. Like, it built trust with me right away. And they were way more keen and on board with the whole idea, versus when I used to do it because it was more comfortable doing it over the phone, over a video call.
That's the easy way out.
Yeah, and they would either not follow up, they wouldn't, it's not the same. You don't really know the person until you see them in person,
And when I was still leading the recruiting, and I'm pushing Gabriel to work toward this too. Instead of just doing dinners, I like the idea of taking our talent out to the sauna, or taking our talent out to a night out in the woods next to a campfire. There's just something about both of those elements that takes down barriers, like really gets
It's raw. It makes it very raw.
Yeah,
And I
it
think
makes
that's
it
real,
really-
authentic.
real and
Yeah.
authentic.
yes, versus you have a manager sitting in an office chair interviewing you and asking you all these things, and like everybody's wearing these like perfect masks, etc.
Exactly.
Where here you get to know the actual person, you know, and if you observe, then you can start to take note and notice those things.
And that manager thing, going back to what you said, it builds this culture right off the bat before they even hire that, like, hey, this manager feels better than me. We're not equals anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it starts that culture of I'm gonna backstab you or like milk you for what you have.
Yeah. Well, you don't.
Oh no.
Well, you don't want that culture of full, like, you don't. What's the word? You don't want to have an employer-employee relationship in a sense that you want these people to be more of a team, right? Like proteges, those who are going to be the next generation to move on and move forward.
That's
Because
right.
Or as an organization grows, speaking from, someone who had to wear 9 different hats, forward, sideways, backwards, and upside down, eventually you ideally want these people to grow into these roles because you trust them. I tend not to hire from the outside when it comes to higher positions. I like to go and build them up to that spot.
Exactly. And it buys you back your time as well.
That is, see the reference.
Yeah.
That's actually a book that influences us. Like some books that are very core within us
Yep.
is the book by Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference, right?
Wonderful book.
Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell.
Yep. Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits.
Yeah,
The
I
habits are
Yeah.
so important, right? If you could create the right habits, that's really the key to life, in my opinion.
And just throwing this out there, we are all very well-read gentlemen, scholars almost by nature. I mean, we're reading books, having book clubs, talking about it.
Always
That's
learning. We're
right.
figuring it out,
Yeah.
and 5 a.m. Club, another book that's
There you go.
phenomenal on the habits.
There you go.
And so, yeah, we're always learning. And as we discover new things, we are, inclined to meet with you guys and share what we discovered, what we learned, what we think we can also implement together with you. And we'll suggest, hey, you read this. Let's read it together. Let's exchange notes, etc. Let's have meetings, talk about it, how we can do that better. And so we're growing together with you. And that's kind of that second package that we offer. Well, not even second package, because that's just us. Even if you hire just one person with us and you want to build a stronger, closer relationship with us, like, heck yeah, we will do that.
You want to touch on that real quick? How we can help train the team and how we can bring them up to speed and pass along the knowledge, that we've all come up together. Because, as Tom slightly mentioned before, he's, I don't know if you guys knew, but this was the youngest entrepreneur in Chicago who was running a trucking company, a couple freight brokerages, so on and so forth. Let's go.
Yes. On the way over here, Gabriel and I were talking over here. My entrepreneurial journey, kind of took off when I was in high school. I was in something called the Young Entrepreneurs Academy, and I was figuring out how I was going to pay for university. And so I was looking at going to Army or OTC. I wanted to be an officer and then a captain at the age of 28.
Yeah.
And in a way, now at the age of 30, I feel I have in some ways become a captain.
A coach, a mentor.
Yes. And I think all men and women, eventually everything we learn, we're meant to mentor because we're meant to have children and we're meant to mentor them, and anything you learn is worth teaching. But we also have learned that we don't want to ever give advice unless asked, and so if you don't ask, we'll try to find pointers to make you ask, or on episodes like this, we can't teach what we want to what we've learned, what we talked about, because you're choosing to listen,
Or how can we use that and pass along the knowledge that we've gained through our journeys to our clients to ramp them up and help the teams learn from those who have done it and those who have been successful.
For sure.
Comments?
Yeah. So my brain goes immediately to kind of like an example of that. An example of that is Never Split the Difference, and how we can train talent to not just go in and maybe start developing not the best habits of how to talk to truck drivers. I've owned a trucking company. You come from owning a trucking company. Your father owns a trucking company. And so we understand the driver aspect of that. And you can actually save a lot of time sometimes by going slow and being able to de-escalate a lot of things that might end up blowing up. Like if you have an angry driver that's got rejected pallets or
Who's
something
been
like that,
sitting
and
on site for 10 hours
Yeah.
and they haven't loaded them yet.
and your reps just a dick to him and ignoring him and all these things like you see in a lot of these companies, brokerages, that guy eventually might blow up and be, fuck these pallets, make a huge thing, the shipper gets angry, calls your customer, and you
Yeah.
lose a huge
And there's
customer.
even bigger problems after that.
And there's even bigger. So like,
I had us looked at.
yes, yes, yeah. I had a latte every time I heard that. Yes. And so like, how can we help with that? You know, we can sit down and offer guidance and coaching and training and regular meetings with these people that we place into your company and even your current company, talking about pretty much tactics that are taught by the FBI's top negotiator when somebody gets kidnapped in the U.S. Who this man's Chris Voss, he's unbelievable. Like when somebody gets kidnapped, he's the person that coaches the people who are on the phone, usually family that are talking to the hostage, the terrorists or whoever has taken your family member, and he's helping coach you through how to get that person back safely. And
if I can maybe chime in here too. So I think what we're trying to communicate here is that should you decide to, partner with Team Whitestone and want to grow a team, and one of the biggest barriers or one of the biggest struggles as a manager, as a leader, is getting your team ramped up. I mean, you're already working 40, 60 hours a week, and then you have to go and divide or chunk out take a piece of that out to raise or to training a team. That's a lot. And imagine if you hire these individuals, and especially if you're going the traditional route of you hire naturally through Indeed or LinkedIn or putting out ads in the paper, or you work with a traditional staffing firm where 30 days, or not 30, or 90 days, my non-negotiables were 90 days, 19%. 19% is typically on the lower end. 25 is when individuals want a little bit more. But you know how many times I've had to go and let individuals off at the 80-day mark because it just wasn't going to happen. And then during those 80 days, you had to train them. Well, guess what we can do? Is we can help bring your team up. And
during that
time for you, so you can have your individual input on that. But when it comes to the fundamentals of tracking and tracing, of dispatching, finding loads on the load boards, building relationships with brokers, how to go and do authentic sales. So whether that can be business development, trying to go and qualify, or having an account manager who goes and fosters relationships. Guess what? We've all done that before. And again, being the scholars that we are, it's not just that we've done it through experience, but through reading, plenty and plenty of books.
and applying it
Applying
over and over again in every
Exactly.
conversation with the driver, in every conversation with a broker booking a load. Because
So what we've done is we've taken these concepts and have used them out in the field. And think of it this way. You have a team of 4. What if you can go and get every single one of person on your team for how many loads they book and have them save $50 per load? You're moving 500 loads a month. Does that-
and you have the carrier feeling great about taking it, because you're not saying this is the rate. You're asking the carrier, what do you feel is fair and worthwhile for you to take? And they tell you the price. And if they tell you the price, that carrier feels a lot better because they feel in control. And if that price is too much, I'm sorry, I just don't see how I can get that approved. There's many other carriers out there that would take this for less. Would it be impossible for you to do less?
Yeah.
Let me call my driver and see if I can do that for a little bit less. Boom, they do it, and like everything flows a lot better just with those little words. And it's in the fine details that you win.
And so we're teaching the team how to build relationships, because that's what this industry is. Whether you're a broker, it's people.
It's just purely the people business, yeah.
Whether it's the drivers and you're working and you're a trucking company and you need someone to go and communicate to your drivers. And for those of you who've been on the road before, lots of respect. My dad's been driving for 30 plus years. He brought me on the road when I was 21 years old to help pay my way through school. By the way, guys, if you're in college and you're driving flatbed team with your pop during the summer, have fun. You're going to get a lot of FOMO. But what that's done is that it's helped put you in the shoes of the others and understand where they're coming from. When you understand the other side, you know what it's like. And that's something that we can communicate, So in a long-winded way, we know how to ramp up that team, show you guys how to do it show them the ropes because we've done it.
Adam, so I'm somebody right now that owns a freight brokerage, or I'm somebody that wants to own a freight brokerage one day.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing this, and I am ambitious, and I'm also a scholar, and I've read Never Split the Difference. But like you said, I'm building the brokerage. I've got so many things on my mind. I can't get my leaders to read the books, etc. Hey, you've got leaders in us that have read the books, and we could take our freed up time to be teaching these things that you understand, right? And if you don't, read the damn book and come to us then. Like,
Good one.
yes, we will help you out. And so, like, if you haven't read the books, like, what are some more, like, real tactics that, like, labeling, mirroring, tactical empathy?
You know, so there's a lot there, and what I like about that book is that Chris Voss has done an excellent job of coming to the table with tactics and real world. Here is a step-by-step way of doing it. Really, what comes down to it is understanding sales and understanding communication and feeling empathy. And empathy, and let's not go ahead and mistake it for sympathy, right? They're two different things. You can understand where the person's at, but you don't have to go and show them compassion. In a sense, you just have to show that you understand them, right? So, you know, on that note, you know,
I can add to that a little bit. So, an example of that in a real world situation is that driver who's got those rejected pallets. He's angry, he's tired, he's sleepy. And instead of your dispatcher, instead of your broker saying, hey man, just fucking figure it out, get it done, you gotta leave right now. Instead, if he says, hey, I know you've been driving really long. I know this rate doesn't, like, you're not in love with this rate. I know you're really angry. I know you've got some things going on in your personal life, and you know those things, so you mentioned them. And you say these things to a point where you're not in the truck with him, so you, like, can't necessarily empathize with him because you're not there. But if at least you listen to him and you heard what he's going through and you say that back to him, he's like, holy shit, this guy understands me. That's right. That's exactly what I'm feeling. Boom. That's
Chris Voss. I think that's called disarming. You're
disarming.
all the bad things right away.
Yes. Yeah. Summarizing. And when that happens, when you get a that's right out of that driver, then you trigger oxytocin in the brain, the bonding drug, which increases your chances of influencing, strengthening bonds, and uncovering black swans.
Yeah.
What are black swans?
Black swans are those little. Actually, you know what, Gabriel? Go ahead and run with it. You've read the book.
Yeah. So black swans are basically hidden
Pieces
of information that aren't at surface level, but when you try to understand the person more, they might accidentally reveal those things for you, and those pieces of information
can change everything.
They can completely flip it in your favor, or in, like, so everyone has a winnable outcome.
An example of that. I would like to be home every night so I can see my wife and kid.
Boom.
You know how important that is to the drivers? You know how important it is to the guys on the road? I mean, speaking from the perspective of the son of a trucker, there were times when I missed my dad. And he did everything he could to get back. And do you think they're in the truck not feeling the same way? No. They care, and that's what they want. And so
you know that and implement that, and you can get a better rate on a load because he just cares about being home, not necessarily the biggest price.
Sometimes it's not even about rate. Sometimes it's about consistency and quality of service. Because guess what? You may be able to go and, you know, let's put it this way. If you can get 5 more loads from your customer per week because you come through with 100%, you know, on-time delivery, you're making up on the difference on the rate because you're making more volume.
Yes.
And you just solidify the relationship.
And then the efficiency that you can gain on that by going a little bit slower, not having that problem blow up, that's going to save the rest of your day from having to deal with an angry driver at a shipper to, hey, I can book more loads suddenly, you know?
And just for the record, most shippers, whether it be out of ignorance or whether it be out of choice, they don't differentiate between brokers and carriers. When they hire a brokerage or a carrier, they see as a transportation provider. So when the driver comes to the table and they come through, I mean, I've had a guy threaten my customer before. I've had guys pee on the side of the building. And these are things we cannot control because they are, you know, as a broker, they're not an employees, whatever it is, but they're still an extension and a reflection. But
that's when you guys weren't using these properly too. That's when that happened.
Well, and when that happens though, what we found is that when we have these trusting relationships and we tell these guys that we ideally want repeat customers, repeat carriers, and you develop these relationships, well, guess what? They're coming to the table and they're bringing donuts to your customer. I had a guy once or twice brought pizza to the shipper without me even asking. He's like, yeah, I've been here about, 3-4 weeks. I thought it'd be nice to go and bring Joe Schmo, a pizza for the team because they're hardworking.
That's
I got a phone
amazing.
call the next day. It says, Adam, Jimmy Bob was the best. I'm like, yeah, man, Jimmy Bob, he's my boy. But how does that happen? Trusting relationships and building from that.
When I was running Percy Transportation, I would talk to a lot of my drivers and we would have these longer conversations about some of these things and talking about how we can make it easier at certain places like this. And many of our drivers would drive around with Polish snacks and Polish treats. And when they would come to shippers, they would oftentimes treat the people there with these, and they had just a stockpile in their truck piled up to make things move a little bit smoother. Making everything more efficient.
My mom makes a real mean naleśniki.
Boom.
And my dad came to the table. There was an account that I was building up out of Chicagoland. He came to the table with a plate full of naleśniki, and I got a call, from my girlie Shay, and she said, Adam, what are these? And I'm like, this is your new favorite food.
Yeah. So if you're a trucking company, maybe open up a budget for some of your drivers. Give them some cards where they could, use these cards to buy treats that are your ethnicity, your culture, and treat these at some of these shippers. You'll see things will start to move slow, more efficient. You're going to be late. You're not going to be loaded as long. Things like that.
Those small things they learn to appreciate, and it goes a very long way.
Absolutely.
It really does.
Absolutely.
It really does. I mean, relationships were made over tables, breaking bread, having a dinner together, and now I feel we've gone to a transactional type of relationship-based economy. Let's bring that back. Let's bring it back to that authentic,
make it
real,
human,
raw stuff.
Yeah. Go back to the history, to the way people used to treat each other.
So, if we could, I think this is a good segue into, because I think a lot of the viewers are concerned about how AI is going to impact this industry, and I think that Adam said this before to me, that people in logistics value that human interaction, and AI can't, an AI driving a truck even, it's not going to be able to offer naleśniki or those treats from, to those shippers. And I think that is also another big thing that Whitestone can offer, that human interaction that AI can't replace. It'll never be able to replace that.
We can go in and have those conversations with your dispatchers, with your brokers, with your drivers to talk about them and have that conversation. Honestly, that's maybe a little bit time consuming, but if you have that conversation with those people, that will turn things around. But that's time, that's energy. And if you need help with that, we're willing to talk about helping with that.
What AI, what at least I predict, and I'm no expert. So running a brokerage, running a trucking company, what I found is that success is found with the right combination of people and technology. And you shouldn't go and forsworn one for the other. And, shout out to my team. I partner with my sister and my best friend. Both of them have been amazing bringing technology to the table. And, we've gone and developed amazing relationships with our individuals. But where AI falls short is on those high stakes things that just need to be done right. Because if you guys have ever used ChatGPT a couple times or whatever it is, sometimes it doesn't know everything. And if you're on the phone with an individual and you have a very, very upset driver calling in, the last thing they want on the other line is an AI.
Yeah.
Why? Because it doesn't let them feel seen. It doesn't let them feel important because you're just another number, right? And same thing on the customer end, calling in and dealing with an AI, I would hang up the phone immediately.
Yeah.
But what it can do is automate things where you send an email in, it scrubs the email, it uploads it to your system, and then it smartly prices the load. It could speed things up so that way we can really do what we do best, and that's building relationships. And that's what Whitestone does or what the culture is that we bring into the individuals that we bring to you, is that relationship building, is that authenticity.
Spot on, gentlemen.
Yeah.
That's right. Whew, what a day, what a world, what a life.
Yeah.
So Adam flew in from Chicago today.
Chi-town.
Look at this man. He's a warrior. He just flew in, long flight, 9-hour flight. slept on a plane, came up, boom, yeah, let's rip this, you know.
That's some boss stuff, coming in after all that jet lag and just like sitting down. Now you're in a cigar lounge.
Yeah, see, so we heard there were a couple of cigars. Hey, I just want to go and talk to the boys.
Amazing.
Talk about business, all right?
Amazing.
Yeah. And you recently went to Budapest and Serbia. What'd you see down there?
Yeah, Paul and we just flew down to Serbia earlier this week. Had a wild time with Asset Based.
Yep.
Another amazing person, Alex Bates, who's working on Carrier Defender and some really cool things there. We'll have an episode and podcast coming out with Alex. Alex is like, we're figuring out how to get Alex involved with Whitestone too, and offer those services to you guys as well. So any new partnerships we develop, boom, we can tell you guys. We can bring those to your gates and say, King, look what we found. Look what we've got. We can make your kingdom stronger, better, faster. One thing I want to talk about is how people say that the toughest part about business is people.
Yeah.
Yes. And so like that's I think what we're offering, really helping to solve that challenge. And so we talked about a little bit of the Chris Voss tactics and those things. Another thing that we can help offer is things like the level 10 meet that we could bring into your organization. Maybe let's talk about...
Let's talk about how you introduced that to Freight Caviar.
Mm-hmm.
How that helped them. And
so within Freight Caviar, so at Whitestone, we've done level 10 meets with the leaders that we've placed for our customers, for you guys. And so what those meetings, I'll start there first and then I'll transition in how we're doing it at Freight Caviar, is we would meet with the generals from each of your guys' companies, and we would sit down and talk about and think about, hey, what are some of the issues going on within this company that you guys are seeing that maybe you don't feel comfortable telling your managers, the owners of these companies, that we could bring to light that we see happening. And so like we'll talk about that and then they'll tell us that, and then we are kind of like this third party that can come to you and say, hey, we talked about this challenge, and we'll run something called a 131. And a 131 is like where we'll write down clearly what the issue is in one or two sentences before we even come to you, because we know your time is precious. And so we'll think through the issue for you with the general that's working for your company, whether that's a broker, dispatcher, tracker, anyone, and they're seeing this and they'll say, hey, I see this problem in one or two sentences. Here's 3 possible ways we can solve it, King. And I think this one is the best, but you let me know what you think. And then, boom, we work together with you to then implement and solve that. That's another thing that we offer, the 131. Going back to level 10s. So what does a level 10... Yeah, so that's kind of...
What is a level 10?
A level 10 comes from the book Traction, comes from the book Rocket Fuel. That it's a way of running a very efficient meeting where you don't just go in and everyone just mumble jumbles. You come in, you go 5 minutes, we're talking about wins, humanizing us, what we're reading, what we've learned recently. Okay, boom, we get past that. Now we go into the scorecard. What are we measuring? What are the numbers? How many loads bounced this week? What's a churn? What's like a number that each person's measuring? We put that into spreadsheets for you guys, and we're measuring that week by week. And each person owns a number, and they're reporting on it. Next, they go into quarterly rocks. So each quarter, we pick 1 to 4 rocks that person's goal is to push that rock forward. We have a green, yellow, red light system of in an Excel sheet, boom, boom, boom. These are the green lights. Before the meet, people hop in and they'll go in and they'll mark if it's green, yellow, or red. If they don't mark it before the meet, everybody halts the meet. We lose time on the meet, and that person has to go in and put that metric in, that measure, or that green, yellow, red light, right? If something's yellow 2-3 weeks in a row, hey, what's going on here? Why is this still yellow? Why is this still red, right? And then we can go into that and go into the longest part of the meeting, which is the IDS session, which is issues, discussion, solve. Albert Einstein said, if I had an hour to solve a problem, I would spend the majority of my time identifying the core of the problem. Then quickly we can discuss how to solve it and then make a decision on going with that solution. And so that's really then we go into customer employee headlines. And then we go into the idea session. And the idea session, by then, we have a list of topics and we rank them. Which ones make the most amount of impact on the most amount of people in this meeting, the most impact on the entire organization, and which of these topics produce the most amount of money. Because we don't want to be focused on small money problems. We want to be focused on big money problems because money can solve a lot of problems usually. So we start talking through those massive issues, and then by the end of the meeting, we also train leaders in this way through a level 10 meeting, where each of the people on these meetings, which are optional, so if people are not showing up, that means they aren't really bought in. They don't care about it that much, but people that are showing up, they're bought in, they care, they want to come, you know what I mean? And so we talk about that leader, how they did in that meeting, right? And so everybody will nitpick and they'll talk about, hey, I really like how you rushed me on this, or like pushed me forward a little bit faster because I was rambling and I know we're certain amount of time. I really like how you pulled us back as the leader during this meeting. It builds confidence. It levels up your people. I'm a big believer in build the people build the business. And so I think a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck up on that, where they're the Superman, they're the superhero. I've been there, where all the problems come to you because you're the only one that can solve them, But if you train your people to also be leaders, then they can start thinking for themselves. They can start having the courage, the confidence that you believe in them to solve those issues, Even if they do it at 80% of you, that's better than you doing all of that. So then you can focus on the really big other problems that you're working on.
So if I can ask, when these, IDS meetings and the, 10s come through, when does Whitestone get involved in those versus standard management, right? Because if you're, we're bringing individuals to the team, helping you go and source talent, and they're working with, you guys day in, day out, when should, you guys call Whitestone and say, hey, look, it seems like there's a little bit of friction, or this seems like there's a disconnect. Can you help step in, or can you help elaborate on that maybe?
Absolutely. So if you're seeing an issue like that you want to talk about, boom, we'll add it to our IDS session. We use something called Miro, which is like the beautiful visual board, and we've got each meeting side by side. So we just copy paste all the topics from the last meeting into this meeting. We have a date, etc. And we customer employee headline. Last week on Friday, the owner of this company, or the manager, called one of us, their leaders, your leaders, us, and told us about this issue that you're seeing, within the company. And we'll go in on like a Tuesday morning. That's like midnight for you guys. And we're already brainstorming. These people, they care. Like, they're coming in before your shifts and they're talking through these problems with you guys. So then at work, they can start working and solving them and talking to you guys about them. So yeah, it's just tell us about it and we'll talk through it. But we could also work with you if you want to be involved on them. Boom, hell yeah, we'll invite you guys and we can work together to pick a time that works best for everybody.
And one thing I would like to elaborate on as well is, here at Whitestone, and correct me if I'm wrong, we're here to fill the role and fill the role with the right individual. Meaning, if you would like to churn and burn and have someone in, try them out for a little bit, and then say, hey, this isn't working, go on to the next one. Before it ever gets to that point, we would like to be involved to at least help with kind of the relationship building process, because maybe there's a disconnect in communication, or maybe there's a disconnect in what have you. So, what we're trying to say is every month when you go through and say, hey, look, here's spot 1 through 5 and spot number 1, roll for track and trace isn't really working for me, then that's when these principles, that's when these meetings, that's when these kind of one-on-ones come into play. And we have a sit down with, Grzegorz and say, hey, Grzegorz, what's going on there, buddy? Can you walk me through it? Because we're a third party, kind of impartial. We don't know what's going on day to day. Maybe there's something you can tell us that honestly, and you're not scared because you don't want to lose your job or whatever it is. And then we can bring that back to you guys who are, partnering with us and convey that information. Did I get that right?
That's spot on, 100%. Yeah, and that before somebody silently checks out on you,
Yep.
we can kind of help bring them back and work with you to
Yep.
kind of get that person back on track. And the amount of turnaround
Yeah.
stories that we've had of somebody being very upset, silently checked out,
Yep.
unhappy because of the way, your leaders were treating maybe them, and bringing it back and talking through it to them, coming to you, hey, this person feels like they're really not involved, like all these things, like they're just a number. This
They
person's
don't
not
feel
treating them
seen,
very
they
nice.
don't feel
seen.
important.
Exactly.
whatever it is.
And like, so here's some ideas for how we could kind of bring them back.
Yeah.
Or if you're really like not loving this person, doesn't fit with your vibe, culture, etc., no problem. We can have that conversation to let that person go. And we'll find another role for them if they were if they're a good person, they just not fit for you.
Yeah.
Or if like really like we're human, we will make mistakes sometimes. So
Yeah.
if that person didn't work out, no problem. We'll have that conversation to let them go as well. Exactly.
Yeah. We're all
Hmm.
every single person is trying to do their best. At the end of the day, I have not met an individual who has woken up and say, "Today I'm going to do evil."
Mhm.
No, everyone wants to do good. Everyone believes that they're wholeheartedly a solid person inside. And sometimes there's a little bit of a disconnect, right? And it's about going and making sure that we have that mutual purpose, that we have that mutual cause, that we're all fighting for it and we can align on it. Sometimes the strategy on how to get there maybe take a little bit of work, but so long as we can all agree that we're here together to build something, to build a team, and to have a brighter future, the rest is just figuring out how to talk about it,
Hmm.
right? And that's part of what Whitestone does, right?
That's right. And that's also why we're not going to bring everybody into, oh, Paul, what's up, brother?
we're gonna bring this
Paul, come
guy
here. Come
in.
give us a
Yeah.
hug. Come give us a hug,
Let's
brother.
go.
All right, we are back. Big Berry Bear has come to join us. My best friend, Paul Jarosławski, founder of Freight Caviar.
Just biked on over here, so I'm sorry if I'm in my shorts. Kind of just
It's
We're
okay.
chilling, baby.
Nice bike
It's all
ride.
authentic.
Yeah.
All right. Where do we start? Where do we go from here?
Catch him up. What have we talked
Catch
about?
him up. What have we talked about? Yeah.
Gabriel?
Well, yes, please.
Nailed it.
Smooth.
Yeah, see?
Didn't wait. It could be wet.
There we go.
You're supposed to inhale these, right?
So, Paul, I'm gonna kind of before we catch you up on where we've been, I'm just gonna talk about one thing that I'm a little bit like I want to address for you guys, our audience, people that are potentially thinking about working with us. Whitestone Talent. What is Whitestone? Well, before I say that, I want to talk about the thing that like maybe concerns me a little bit. It doesn't concern me, but this thought I had was like that this setting is kind of like maybe like we're drinking waters, we're smoking cigars, and maybe it makes us look like unprofessional or
Have you worked in the transportation industry?
have you worked in the transportation industry?
Sure. This is blue collar. This is men being men.
You're right. And this is actually like what most of our like brokerage owners like. You guys like doing this. Like this is what we like doing, and so we're going to be real and we're going to be authentic. Like this is how we like to have our business meetings, and so this is how we like to hang out in the sauna, out in nature, on walks, going out to campfires. And right now the situation is we're in Warsaw. We're flying out to San Francisco tomorrow.
Yep.
We're going to be doing some really fun, cool things. We just got back from Budapest in Serbia. And so Paul's kind of seen the evolution and the birth of Whitestone from the very beginning. And he's just been like silently observing, silently, not so silently. He's been telling me like all these great ideas and things that, you know, I can do to make things, to serve clients better and to make things better. And Paul's like been such a great guiding force and shown me so much. And I've learned so much by his side, and we challenge each other. And like, he's just such a great friend. And so like, I'm so happy to have you joining us here right now.
Thank you for having me, Tom.
Heck yeah, man.
I love our friendship.
Over friendship.
It's definitely unique.
If I can ask, how'd you guys meet?
So funny enough, when I was working at Everest as a freight broker, I used to work often with Coned Logistics. They run partials outside of Chicago or out of Chicago, going into like the Midwest area, and my point of contact there was Patrick.
Mhm.
And Patrick actually went to kindergarten with Tom, and Tom. So now Tom knew him since he was 5 years old. They were like really good friends then. And Tom actually got him into the logistics industry by hiring him as a dispatcher at Percy
Poor guy.
back in the day. So Patrick, when he found out that I had quit Everest and moved to Poland, he had reached out to me like literally like a week or two after I had just moved to Poland. He had reached out. He's like, "Hey, I know you're like working on a freight brokerage from Poland for the U.S. market. Like, I have a good friend of mine who's been in the logistics industry for a while, but he then left and he's in Poland now. He's looking to get back into it. Do you mind like talking to him?" And we hopped on a call, and you know what the really crazy part about it all was that Tom went to Stevenson High School, the same high school that my cousins went to. And in 2016, my cousin had sent me an article about a guy that was 20 years old and owned a trucking company. He's like, "Hey, by the way, this guy went to Stevenson," because my cousin knew that I was working in logistics. And I'm like, "Oh, that's really cool."
Hell yeah.
So when I was on the call with Tom for the first time, like I think we're like halfway through the call, and I just like that thought sparked in me like that, like I think I recognize this guy from somewhere. And I'm like, "Tom, were you like in an article like online, about like that talked about your like trucking experience? Now you're like the youngest trucking company owner in the U.S." And he's like, "Yeah, I was." I'm like, "Get out of here!" And I googled it, and you could actually pull it up. Maybe we could pull it up here, like kind of like the article, what it was. And funny enough, like Tom said, that's him, and I'm like, what a small world. And then we ended up like went on his Instagram page, and I saw like we had a lot of mutual friends from the U.S. besides Patrick and others. So we got connected then, and then like our friendship started from there, and we've been like best friends since then. Basically, we've just been always connected, and we talk a lot. And he's also seen the evolution of Freight Caviar. I remember the first so we connected I think mid-November of 2020, and then I went to go visit him like a month later, December 2020. And I remember I was like posting memes on shipping pallets. That was the name of Freight Caviar back then. And we had like, I think 3,000, maybe even less followers on our Instagram page. And I remember I was like showing Tom a meme that like went viral. I mean, viral relatively because it had like 300 likes. It got 300 likes. And I was like, "Tom, look at this. It got 300 likes." And like, I think Tom mentioned this before. Like, he's like, you didn't really understand the whole idea.
Yeah, I thought I didn't believe in the memes and like the vision that you were seeing back then, truth be told, and I was like, Paul, I don't know if that's like worthwhile, etc. But you saw something I didn't, and you freaking went for it, and you had fun doing it, and you've created something amazing. And like, I love that you've been able to build something that's bringing the authenticity, the realness, having the like real conversations, not just suit and tie pretending to be perfect, but just talking about the real things in the industry. And I love that so much. I mean, I don't think there's anybody it's changed history. The logistics, it's changed history. So
you make those in the industry laugh, man, about some, that shared quote unquote suffering that goes with grinding. And that's what the logistics industry is that it's a grind. It's hard freaking work, and crazy things happen, and you capture that very well.
Thank you. I mean, now we have a team, and we have a great team. I honestly don't even make them. I make memes sometimes. Sometimes they're like, I make a meme and I see something and I know it.
Don't be humble.
But overall,
it's so humble.
But it's funny because like nowadays with like the way we've grown, it's like I don't see a lot of things until like it's posted, and I'm like, oh wow, like we just like shout out to Ari. Ari makes great memes, and
the meme master, I have them saved in my phone as meme master.
Yeah. And we also have someone else on our team that makes memes, and it's just like it's incredible for me just to see like being able to like build out a team like underneath that, because it just started with just me like for a couple of years like making memes, creating content. And I mean, it was something that was coincidental. It was nothing that I planned. Like even back then, like if I were to think of my mindset when I was with Tom, like in December 2020, I had launched the page in October 2020, so it was literally just 2 months beforehand that I had started it. My mindset like then wasn't like this is going to be a business. My mindset here is like I'm having a lot of fun doing this, and I can't focus on anything else because like I quit the brokerage side, I quit Everest, and I thought like I wanted to start my own brokerage, and then I quickly learned that like owning a brokerage is one of the most difficult, I would say, businesses out there, especially when it's so competitive and you're dealing with so much fraud. You're it's difficult to find shippers, it's difficult to find carriers when you don't have a credit score, etc. Like all the cash flow problems.
All the people problems, all the talent problems.
I had a brokerage. I started in that. We had a couple customers, and we did like 60K in revenue the first month that we were operating. So it wasn't bad. I mean, it was a good start, and we were profitable. But I was like, this sucks. This is so much worse than like being a broker, And so I had actually just started making memes instead, and I just was like. And it's part of like, I guess my ADHD or whatever you want to call it, like my inability to focus and like, but in a way, like I created my own path, in the industry, and Tom's been there since the get-go. And now like we're going to San Francisco next week to record content. We're going to record a San Francisco documentary on the freight tech scene and the evolution of like freight tech and stuff like that. We're also going to be hanging out with Truck Smarter, and it's just incredible to be like this. Feels like a dream,
Yes.
But it's like reality, So like, and it all started with memes, and we progressed to the newsletter, the podcast.
And speaking from an outside perspective, we're all proud to see how you guys have grown. We're all on the edge of our seat watching, like you guys, Freight Caviar, the whole scene is the real deal. So just respect.
Thanks, Adam.
Ooh,
Appreciate that. Adam just flew in from Chicago a few hours ago.
yeah, jet
We're just-
lag.
Where'd we just come from?
We just came from Budapest. Well, yesterday we flew in from Budapest, a couple days over in Serbia. Actually, I've been to Serbia twice this month. Within 2 weeks, I was in Serbia twice. There are a lot of dispatching offices, brokerages in Serbia. It's quite unique because when you look at the landscape of outsourcing and nearshoring, you get a lot in Latin America, like Mexico, shout out to Rapido, or you go to Colombia. There's a lot of like companies out there, but like what's unique here in Europe is like Serbia. Okay, I'm gonna take that back for a second. If it wasn't for the war right now in Ukraine, I think Ukraine would have been at the top of like outsourcing.
Absolutely.
I think the trajectory was going that direction, and that's where I was based out for 3 years.
Yeah.
But because of that war, like it I guess
a lot's moved
a
too.
lot's moved, and like companies closed. But, like now Serbia, like there's so many companies in Serbia, and Serbia's been, I would say, like kind of like the hotspot for outsourcing dispatch talent and freight brokers. And then like you're building out here in Poland.
Yes.
Was,
Can
And-
I ask?
Yep.
So, like you mentioned, Serbia, Moldova, those Balkan kind of, countries versus here in Poland, what are some of the differences? And what are some of the things that each bring to the table? And what are some of the things that they do different that, because, we have Latin American competitors, we have in-home states. Like, what's the scene look like?
That's a great question. And the like, I would say the main difference right now is, okay, like Poland is in the EU, and it has the whole infrastructure set up to create, like, if you want to launch a business here, like, it's really like, there's a blueprint to follow, whereas in like Serbia and like countries that are outside of the EU, there's more like a bureaucratic process and maybe like questionable things that you like. If you need to know someone to actually get business done there,
Someone trustworthy.
Yeah, like if you want to have a business operating there, you can also just have contractors, which is a completely different story, right? Like the contractor opens a business and you just pay them through the LLC or their I guess so-called LLC in Serbia, but like, so that's like I would say like. If you're actually opening a company, if you want to have your own company, I would say it's a lot safer to have your own company in somewhere in the EU because of the laws and regulations behind it. However, like in Serbia, like okay, well, first of all, like cost-wise, it's cheaper to be in Serbia than it is in Poland. Taxes are cheaper in Serbia, especially for when it comes to like company taxes and employee taxes, stuff like that. Like Poland has quite high. Well. I guess
Relative.
Yeah, I guess compared to the Western Europe, Poland actually isn't that high, but like compared to like maybe the Balkans it is. But that's I would say like one of the bigger differences. Like Poland does have an outsourcing scene here, and there are some companies out here, but it is much smaller.
Yeah, we were talking about how like we all love reading books and educating ourselves and learning, and one thing that really solidified that for me was when the war in Ukraine started picking up, and I had my family, girlfriend at the time that we were like going very serious, and the war started picking up, and we're in like the Podlaskie region where there were like some fears that maybe this could escalate into Poland or something, and I was like, ooh, this is making me kind of worry, and so I found a book by Jordan Peterson. what's the title of the book?
Canvas guy.
An Antidote to Chaos, the 9 Rules for Life, something like that.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Was it 9 or was it 12?
One of the most challenging reads of my life, but one of the best
Yeah,
books
that was a good one.
I've ever read. And it showed me, and I know, Paul, you recently watched the podcast with Jordan Peterson and Chris Williams,
Yeah, that was a
and
good podcast,
Jordan talked about how honest, just being truthful
Yep.
and transparent is the best strategy for life. Like, you are going to have the difficult conversations with your wife, with your business partners, with your family, with your children. However, and those are going to be tough. However, if you have them, if you navigate them in a calm, cool way, if you have some like cool structures, frameworks, like ways of going about that, then you can bring those challenges to the surface. You can have those transparent conversations, and then you can work through any problem. And that's what it's really about. And I really am doing and will always do my best to instill that into our companies, into our organizations, and wherever I go. And so I
The
think
way there is authentic.
yes,
Just being authentic.
yes. And so, like Gabriel mentioned earlier, how he doesn't like calling himself just CEO, COO. That he sees himself as an integrator where he can make things happen, and I think that's awesome. And so for me, I've had my labels, like, yes, sure, you can say entrepreneur, you can say friend, you can say all these position titles, founder, etc. But what I really think I am, and that kind of describes me well, is I'm always going to do my best to be a light bringer, which means like I will shine light on those dark areas that are challenging conversation. I'll bring them to light and we'll talk through it to solve that. I'm a curse breaker. So that if there's like something that you think is, there's like a curse breaking story. Our camera guy, Derek, we were rolling to, where was it? Amsterdam, Eindhoven, to visit our guys at Control Chain. And Derek's like, hey guys, I see seat number 13. I'm kind of worried about sitting down here. I'm like, boom, I'm a curse breaker. I'm gonna change that. Boom, I hit up seat 13. On my right is a like dicey looking, shifty looking guy. On my left is like this beautiful girl, and just broke through that.
So for those who work in, or those who like to dabble in the nerd realm, you know, Pantomic and I, we started playing some Baldur's Gate 3, and Wojciech and Thudrik, we came to the table, but we got ourselves a paladin here, a man of light who goes and fights for good.
Yeah.
That was his main character build. Yeah, I see you.
Yes.
That, Paul.
I've always been a paladin. Yes. Yeah, so that's a little bit of that curse breaker. Like, I'm not afraid to break those curses. I'm not afraid to come in, and if you got like those dark spots, those scary spots in your business, like I will help have those conversations. I will help like turn that. I'll do my best to help with that. And
so I'm just gonna add here, like Tom's been helping me out on the Freight Caviar side of things, and I would call him kind of like an integrator here. Like, I've been struggling like doing like these level 10 meetings for traction.
We talked about that in the
traction.
first one.
Yeah, and obviously like doing one-on-ones with the team, and Tom's been so helpful with that. And Tom's personality, the way he like comes into every I guess situation, he's non-judgmental, and he wants the best, but he's also asked the right questions, and I believe that because of that he's able to like you know, shine the light on the darker spots that need to like be
on the
talked about.
conversations that have to be had.
And I've been telling Tom for a while, like what Tom does incredibly well, and like something that he could actually offer companies is like, you could literally come into companies and offer like consulting, or like, you know, like sitting down with individuals, having level 10 meetings, and like walking through like specific goals, metrics, and like I think you're so incredible at that like you could literally help so many companies outside, like even of outsourcing, just like helping companies internally with what they're dealing with. I think that like you're honestly like Tom's like literally, I think, helped so much in Freight Caviar, and it's only been a month since then.
Let's go, my brother. Thank you. And I suppose if we're going that, my third and final one is peacemaker. I believe that I want to. Like part of living in Poland is like we're in between two worlds. We're in between the East and West, the Horde and the Alliance, whatever you want to call it, like yin and yang. And I believe like really like people are people at the end of the day.
Mhm.
And if you could have those honest and open conversations, you could turn somebody that's misunderstood, that cultural difference, that all those things. And if you like really connect on a human level using the things we talked about earlier, then you could turn somebody that's like angry and silently checked out and then turn them into your biggest rock star. And we've done that at a lot of companies already, and like it's one of my favorite things in the world to see. And
If I can add, the greatest gift you can ever give someone is understanding them and their suffering. This guy gets it.
thank you.
And I think that's another important thing to underline with Whitestone is we hire in Poland, and I think it's a very big cultural thing that Polish people will tell you what's wrong,
Mhm.
and they'll tell you just straight on what the issue is. They're
Yeah.
not afraid to hide that.
Yeah,
So-
and they're not afraid of that. They're not afraid of wanting better. They're not afraid of wanting more. They're not afraid of telling it straight because why? We share that same mutual purpose and that mutual cause.
Exactly.
We want a better life.
And if they don't, we encourage it too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we
help
foster
channel.
that.
We help
foster
channel that with
Yes.
all our knowledge and everything. We
Yes.
help them channel that into a more
Yes.
positive.
One
Yes.
of, I think, the advantages of actually working with the team in Poland that's not really spoken about is that work culture-wise, I think there's a lot of similarities between American work culture and the Polish work culture. Because I mean, I've read this book before. Like it talks about like, the psychology of like work cultures, and like when you're working with a team, like just say for example in India, like there's a lot of things that you need to learn about doing business with them,
Yeah.
and vice versa, for in order to be like mutually, I guess, beneficial. And I think when you're dealing with Polish people, like also like Polish people are very pro-American. Like Polish people love America because they know that like without America, like they would be in danger of like losing like maybe their country or just like democracy in general. Whereas like other countries, like aren't as maybe pro-American. Like just to truth be told, like Serbia, like they have some animosity towards America because NATO bombed Serbia in 1999. Actually, Serbia is the only country that's ever been bombed by NATO, and so I guess like although like, I know like younger people like in Serbia like they remember it, and they're I think very thankful for the opportunities of having American companies or just like Serbian trucking companies from the U.S. that come and do the outsourcing there. But it is something that like I guess isn't really talked about. It's but it is out there. Like it's
And it goes two ways too, because from what I understand, us coming from Chicago and us coming, whatever being, Polish Americans, there's a lot of respect from the West for Poland because of what we're standing up for what we're fighting for, defending Europe, So it's a mutual respect and it's a mutual understanding of being those on the front lines, fighting for democracy, fighting for freedom, fighting for peace in the world.
Yeah, and there's like a very clear symbol of that on both of our nation's flags, the eagle, and that eagle bridges. Yeah, Bridge Eagle, Eagle Bridge. It
shout out to
bridges.
Bridge Eagle.
Shout out to Bridge Eagle, Eagle Bridge. A new partnership. We're working with some amazing guys that we're excited to announce maybe on future episodes. Have them sit down with us and share with you guys what they can offer and what we can offer partnering with them, etc. And so like we talked about earlier, like we are going to be more than just a productized like, hey, here's what we offer, bang, but like, hey, this is what we learned recently, human to human, and this is the people we met, we trust them, and like, hey, we can maybe offer this to help solve some of your other challenges, etc., to help you grow faster, because this business is not the business that I believe we're going to make a lot of money in. I believe it's the business that we're going to meet the people that we're going to make a lot of money with. And that's you guys, the people that are listening right now, that feel it, that are, about it. And so yeah, we're going to always filter who we work with, and we're going to be more patient and
don't let that discourage y'all. Come through, come say, hey, reach out to us individually, reach out to us in whatever ways that you can. We want to get to know you. We want to get to know your organization. We want to help you grow. That's who Whitestone is. and that's what we stand for. And we're all just trying to build a better future.
Mm-hmm.
You know, be friends.
That's right.
Let's go. Let's go.
Zgadza się.
Zgadza się. That means that's right.
That's right.
Yes. Yes. Phenomenal, my friends. Where do we want to go from here? Any ideas, thoughts?
It's getting late.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
getting late.
we've talked about a lot.
Yeah, I need to go to sleep soon. I got to pack for my flight to America.
Mm.
A lot of stuff to do before that. So
Maybe a couple final thoughts from each of us, and then we can wrap it
let's
up.
take a hot take. Maybe do a hot take and cold truce right now.
Boom, some hot takes, cold truths. I mean,
And
the one we just talked about, here's a hot take: is Poland a better place to outsource than any other country in the world? Maybe, yes. Like the hot
I
take
don't know.
would be
I
yes.
wouldn't be able to say yes or no specifically. Like,
Do you
I
think there's a
that's-
better country to outsource to than Poland? That's the hot
It
take.
depends on what you're looking for. I think, right? The question is
Yeah.
like, what do you need? What is your budget? Like, what position? Like, I don't know. I mean,
What are your also
at the
strengths
end
and
of-
stuff?
at
Like,
the- yeah. At the end of the day, like I believe,
Mm.
there's obviously a lot of like.
can I add something there? I think another cool thing about us is like if you want to work with the LATAM countries, the Asia countries, go work with them. We're not going to bind you to a contract that says you can't work with anyone else. Try out with them. All of our customers have built outsourcing operations in the Philippines, in India, in South America, and they've all come to work with us, and they love it, and they've grown and scaled with us, and they kept those teams, or they downsized. Sometimes they left them. And I think that's something that's really cool that we offer. Like, we're not going to bind you into these crazy.
That's how confident we
Yeah,
are.
Yeah,
and if I can add
contracts.
to that too, just speaking from being on the other side, paying for these services individually, we had representatives from each different market. We had a recruiter in the U.S. market, we had a recruiter in the Latin market, and we had a recruiter in the Eastern European market. Because what you don't want to do is to have people fighting against the same talent. So if you have 2 or 3 recruiters in LATAM or 2 or 3 recruiters in the US, like you're going to be calling the same people.
Mhm.
But when you go and you spread that out and you have a representative for each of those different regions, they're not competing. There's no problem. Like, let us all share the wealth. But at the same time, bring that talent to the table, and you can pick and choose who is right for the right position.
You're right. That's spot on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so don't pigeonhole yourself with any of these companies that are like, you can only work with us. Like, I'd be
Don't do
very
that.
careful. I'd be
Don't
very
do that.
careful.
Something that I would
predatory.
also add for anyone that's considering outsourcing is like, like don't only be looking at like the cost. I guess because if you're comparing it to like, okay, Poland versus Serbia versus Philippines, whatever, like, I think that's the wrong approach. Because like,
Yeah.
for example, like you could probably find someone for like $4K a month that is someone that you'd probably have to pay like $10K a month in America for, and that person for $4K will maybe even do more. And I think in many instances they would, because $4K means more to that person than the $10K for someone in America. So like, I would be like, just try to seek the best talent.
Because that to them is actually 16K, pretty
and,
much.
and to throw out there
In
too,
Poland.
Imagine yourself selling as a brokerage. Imagine yourself selling as a a trucking logistics provider. Asset based. When someone comes to the
Asset-based.
table to you, right? Yeah. When someone comes to the table and says, "Hey, someone is cheaper," what's your argument that says, we might be a little bit more expensive, but here's why? Well, here's the parallel.
Yeah.
Here's the parallel.
What are you getting also with this price per person?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And we're a very reasonable cost
hmm
with exceptional quality.
And that price is going to go up with every customer that we bring on. So reach out quick, my friends.
The first 1,000 customers, you get your deal here.
No, that's legit. I'm not even joking. Like, I'm going to push for that. I don't know if you guys disagree with me. I'll this is a idea meritocracy. And so like, yeah, I'm not a dictator. So
I wouldn't do that.
that's my idea.
No. How about you, Gabriel?
I'm
What
down
would
to
you
go
say
back and
is
forth on that. I think we should here in a moment.
Hot take, cold truth. What would you
My
have?
hot take?
Yeah.
Go to that in a moment.
Gosh, to be on topic, I want to make, here's a hot take. Poland is the best country. I think that is, seriously.
Paul actually agrees with that.
I mean, I do think Poland's the best country. I mean, I travel all over the world, and I'm honestly like,
Yeah.
I see it so clearly every time I come back, and every time I'm gone, I'm like, Poland. Is the
You've
best
been to
country.
quite a few, so maybe you could touch on like.
Well, we were just like in Serbia and Hungary, and like, like Serbia, like it's a cool place.
By the way, I love it there. I would move there tomorrow. I would buy land,
Yeah.
house, etc. I love it.
Serbia?
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
However,
You're also only there for like a few hours.
True.
So,
true.
you know,
Yes.
I think it's,
There's still more to learn, and we'll be back.
yeah. And we were just in Hungary and Budapest, which is like super touristy, like, and it's just like, I mean, it's a beautiful city, beautiful architecture, but like, for some reason, Poland, I feel like has figured everything out in such a great way. Like, they went through so many hardships.
Guys, don't
That's
tell
the thing, it's
everybody.
like the best kept,
Well, this is
it's like
only
the
for
best
you guys.
kept
Yeah,
secret.
this is the best kept
Literally,
secret.
'cause
We don't want to attract it.
I but it's honestly like Poland has figured it out because it's gone through so many hardships, and now it's on this trajectory of economic development. But it's clean, it's safe.
Yeah.
It's like good, friendly people.
Yeah.
Like everything you need in life to live a good life, Poland has.
Yeah.
And there's this, I mean, obviously, like for me, it's different because like I'm Polish and I spent a lot of time in Poland when I was a child. But I just feel so good in Poland that I don't feel in any other country. And
You feel safe.
it
You
just
feel the prices are great.
it's like
you feel the people are
utopia.
great. The
You know,
culture
people
is
talk about
great.
utopia. Like I think
Yeah.
Poland is a utopia,
Mm-hmm.
and I hope it doesn't get ruined. And there's obviously still like a lot of factors internally that
Like everywhere.
And it's not just economically. We have everything. Like in terms of like landscape, we got mounds. We
Yeah.
got.
We even have a desert.
Desert. We have a beach up north. Like there's like a little chunk of hell. It's called like
We've
everything.
got the last bison in Europe.
forest.
It's honestly, yeah, it's got the nature, it's got everything you need
It's got the sauna
to live a
culture.
very good life. And you know, like people are like, why don't you live in America? Like everyone's like, you know, Paul, why'd you move to Poland? And I'm like, this is like the easiest decision of my life.
You don't even know.
I've
if you
been
don't
wanting
get
to
it.
live
You don't
in
even
Poland
know.
since the crazy thing is like I've been wanting to live in Poland since I was like a little kid. And I remember like every summer I would come to Poland. I'd spend the summer with my grandparents, and I never wanted to fly back. And there was like times where like I was crying and telling my mom, my mom like, "Yo, mom, can I just stay with my grandparents? I go to school here and stuff like that." Yeah, like I literally, and she was like, "No, you got to come back." And I was like literally cry back on my flight back to the U.S. And then like, when I got that job opportunity from Everest, they're like, in 2017, do you want to move to Ukraine? And I literally was like so excited. I'm like, yes, like you could send me right now. I'm all in. Like literally like easiest thing in the world. And it's funny because like then after I had left, I know they were interviewing people to like replace me in Ukraine, and like it wasn't that easy because I was like the perfect person for it because I was like I'm moving there right away. And Ukraine was amazing. I lived there for 3 years. And the reason why I moved to Ukraine is because it's like right next door to Poland, and I would come back to Poland twice a month visit my grandparents. And then during
Right
the
by
pandemic,
Lubin.
during the pandemic, I'm like, no,
Let's go.
I'm moving to Poland. Poland is like, and the more I travel, the more I feel it. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to go travel, I want to see other places, and then like I'm like, oh, where would I want to live? I'm like, hands down Poland, hands down. There's honestly no better place to live.
And I think the cold truth is like wherever your roots and your culture is, like wherever you connect, go to those places in the world. You know, if you can, if you have that, and explore. Because sometimes go to Poland, yes. However, sometimes you might connect really well with your country, the country that you come from, because like that's also a big reason why we love it here. Like our roots are here. Like speak the language a little bit. We feel that like our grandmas raised us similar values, and I think that's echoed everywhere in the world and for everybody in the world. Like if you grew up in Des Moines, Iowa, like you meet another person from Des Moines, Iowa, immediately you're like, oh, we understand each other because we went through similar things. We were raised similarly, and so immediately you have that connection. And so I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Where else? What else?
I think my hot take is that just playing devil's advocate, Whitestone may not be for everyone. There may be other options. I know making dials, trying to get in front of the right individuals. There were other options that were better for them, but the cold truth is that Team Whitestone is there for the right people when we sync up with, and when we go and make those relationships, it's going to help your company get to that next level. And I'm passionate about that, and I know that this team here has what it takes to go and build something beautiful.
We'll do our best. Yes.
What I think like what a huge advantage to working with Whitestone, and this is me being completely unbiased because I have absolutely no equity in the company. I've literally this is just me from being a friend and seeing
this guy in the street
and seeing what other companies are is like, okay, like you're you're like more like a boutique kind of outsourcing partner, because when you look at like all these large outsourcing firms, like they are massive, right? They're massive, and it is difficult for them to provide you the service that you would get here. You know, it kind of reminds me of like the if anyone watches The Office, I'm not sure if you do, but there was that one situation where Jim and Dwight were on a sales call. I mean, maybe we could actually put this here on like the video to show it. But they were on a sales meeting, and basically this guy was, you know, considering leaving them to go to like Office Depot because they had cheaper paper prices. And all of a sudden, like, Jim takes out his phone, he calls like up like I think it was Office Depot or Staples, whoever it was, and like, you know, you just go to like an automated machine. It's like press 1 for this, press 2 for this, and it's like, okay, now he's like, okay, let's calling Dunder Mifflin, and it's like literally within a second, Kelly picks up, all smiling and all happy and excited to talk to you, and it's like the difference, like, you know, like you're gonna get that personal touch, and you're gonna have like an actual like real people behind, like waiting or being there for you every step along the way, and this is completely like unbiased, like this is the hot truth, and I have no financial incentives to say this whatsoever. This is just me speaking as a friend. So, yeah.
Here's that $20.
$20. What do you take me
Come
for?
on, man.
What do you take me for?
So before we went with that conversation, I wish I had my journal here because I would have written down that direction we wanted to talk about a moment ago before we went with that conversation. Do you remember what we wanted to talk about? Where I was like, we'll come back to it in a moment. Yeah, it's been long. We've been on. This has been the toughest week of my like sleepless nights in like the last 3 weeks with the Serbia and Budapest trip. It's been amazing.
Yeah, and it's also 10 p.m. right now, and I haven't packed. I have a mess in my apartment that I have to move out soon of, and I need to get ready for America because we have a busy trip coming.
Yeah,
so
when you guys leave?
Tomorrow at 2 p.m. our flight leaves. It's not. I mean, I still have to wake up, but it's like before I get home, I'm actually on my bike right now. I got to bike home. I'll probably pack tonight.
It's way past my bedtime.
Yeah, it's way past your bedtime. You're still smoking a cigar. You left all your stuff in my apartment. Really.
Nice. So I'm a little bit scattered with my apartment, your apartment, the hotel.
You want to come to my apartment before we leave tomorrow?
Yeah, and then we'll roll together.
Yeah, you get a laptop and all that stuff.
Phenomenal.
You do have a charger. You have your charger, right?
Yeah, Gabriel brought me some chargers.
Yeah, I mean this is a great setting.
I was actually worried that this setting is a little
actually,
bit
Adam, if you're gonna be here, or actually, when do you come back on the 30th? I'm not sure. When do you leave?
Second.
So if you want, we could record something on the 31st.
Sure.
super down.
When you land, right when you land.
Yeah.
What's what week? That's my birthday, actually.
I love that. I
Oh,
can't
happy
wait.
early
Like, let's
birthday.
do it. This is so much fun.
Oh.
This is so much fun, and I
Gentlemen?
think it's gonna offer a lot of value to people. And like speaking,
It's actually really cool. I like this a lot.
if you guys have any questions or things that you guys want to find
I
out
kind
more,
of think
ask, drop them down
I think
below.
you should do a podcast settings.
Let them know.
I
Yeah.
like this a lot. I like this a lot more.
I'm not against. I just enjoy talking with amazing people and friends. And
This is a cool setting.
You like having your shirt off during the sauna sessions. Let's be real.
I love that. Yeah, I worked hard for
Take
my
cold
entire
truths.
life. That's the cold truth right there. Yeah. Yeah, I work for it, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie. My love language is compliments. So
Yeah.
if you start complimenting me,
Ladies.
yeah. So,
Alright.
yeah. What a day! What a world! What a life!
Yeah.
I'm so in love.
Live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh, love. That's right. That's right. Thank you, everybody, for making it here, for being a part of this vision and what we're creating, and we're gonna
And for
keep on doing great
our
things.
viewers who's made it this far and who have watched
Yes.
from top to bottom,
Yes.
from the bottom of our hearts.
There's a lot of things that we touched on that I
Yeah.
hope in future episodes we can dig deeper in, and
Yeah.
I know there's treasures on that like surface, and if we dig a little bit deeper, then we will uncover the treasure and the gold, and for you guys, and we'll share it with you guys. And
And if you guys have anything else you want to hear from us or whatever it is, please send us your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns. If you don't,
what's
feel-
like the best place to like reach out to you guys to find out like more?
What do you think?
Email, I think, is the best way.
What's your email?
Gabriel at whitestonetalent.com.
Beautiful.
Adam at whitestonetalent.com.
Definitely leave a link in the.
Yeah, we'll pass
description.
it along.
Yeah.
But those are individual. Whatever it is, you can get a hold of us one way or another. We're not shy. We want to be your friends. So
And
I'm saying,
feedback in the comments, of course.
yeah,
What we can do better on, how we can improve. Like we're
Maybe-
always trying to.
maybe not use the
Be better.
bathroom right when we ask. What do we offer?
I'm gonna keep doing it unless my idea, my meritocracy team says no, Tom. We really got to stop that. Unless you guys say we really got to stop
HR.
peeing in the middle of these podcasts. yes.
Anyway,
Amazing, cool. Whitestone out.
1, 2, 3, Whites.
One more. I'll count it down from 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1, Whitestone. Oh,
Beautiful.
gang.
Amazing.
Oh, good shit, gentlemen. I love you.